two arbor supports here. I've got 3 in total, 2 style B and 1 style A. You can see the difference in these arbor supports. One has a much smaller hole than the other. This style A, both of these my buddy Jim Lichty helped me find. I really appreciate that. But this one I haven't used yet. I really haven't even cleaned it up. And the reason why I haven't used it is because the bushing that the arbors run in, you can see this is a style A arbor, which has a protruding end that's smaller than the diameter of the actual arbor. Supposed to slide in that bushing, and support the end of the shaft. And then you can also use this style B arbor support bushing and run this one up next to the cutter. More support equals less chatter and all that good stuff. There's a lot of forces involved in the horizontal mill when it's cutting, especially when you're using large cutters, and the more you can get the better. This one has a bushing in it that's too small, and I got to bore it out. I want to make sure that it maintains alignment with the spindle on that horizontal mill, and I think that I've got a way that I can actually bore it out on the mill using a boring head, with this on the rams. I'm not for sure that'll work, but I need to get everything together and get set up. I'll take you and show you the idea, and then we'll get started putting everything together to make it happen.
No, Chloe.
Show us that lettuce. No.
No. Come here.
Chloe's gonna get bit. And it pops up fast. It's our lettuce bed. So soon we'll have good lettuce. They cut his little wings too short.
They're all in my hair.
It's tangled up. It's alright here. Let me get back here. He's silly. Alright, so my idea here is to have this machine bore its own bushing. And got my support that I want to bore out. The bushing's in, everything's in line the way that it should be. Boring head in the spindle of the machine. And this I believe will give me the best chance at getting a bore that's truly in line with the spindle versus pulling this out, the bushing out, putting it in the lathe and turning it like you would do normally. Well, that only guarantees that the bore that I put in this bushing will be concentric with the OD of the bushing. I don't care if the bore is concentric with the OD. I want it to be truly in line with the spindle of this machine. So if I put a boring bar in here, spin this up, I'll feed this back, using the, I can of course, feed it really slow. So that's the plan. I really think that this will work. At least it better. Alright, so for our bushing, I've got a piece of 3/4 inch 01. So that's usually some pretty good stuff. So we'll get a quick measurement here. So where the bushing depth can be. Make it a little shorter. Basically 1.5 inches. Got a little brown and sharp hook rule. And these things are nice. So I'll just lay it out a little shorter. Take it over to the saw. Cut it. Man, that 01 is some hard stuff. So we just, of course, put it in here, center drilled it, pilot drilled it, and now we're going to drill it, what is it, 31/64. Should leave us about 15 thousandths. Yeah, 31/64, right under ½ inch. Should leave us 15-20 thousandths, right around in that, to, what is this, this is 480 thousandths, around in there, somewhere right around in there. So leave us about 20 thousandths to clean up with our reamer. This was given to me by Y-Pop. That's his stage name. So thank you, Y-Pop. He comments all the time. But anyway, this is a left-handed spiral flute reamer, so it should push all the chips forward. I actually am just going to chuck this this reamer up into the drill chuck. You know, I don't care if it gives us a perfect hole, because this bushing's got to be split anyway, because it's going to be a collapsing bushing. So you get the idea. So let that bushing cool for sure before I try to ream it. So this stuff here, you know, I'm not promoting it or anything. It just works pretty decent, but it's a lot more waxy than this stuff here. This AccuLube push-up stick. This stuff's good once your bits get hot. You know, it melts to them and stuff, but this stuff is, you know, more of a wax, more of a paste, so it sticks to your cutters better. We'll try that, see how that works. So I'm just going real slow, letting this reamer do its thing. So, somewhat of a loose fit, whatever. And that's actually what I was after. You know, I wanted this to slide in easy. I didn't want it to fight it. And then I'll split this, and we'll be able to use it. So that's, you know, basic. To deburr that. Nut. Well, all my trees are starting to bloom. You see my weeping willow here, getting all the greenage on it, and all the flowers, man, or the colors. You see, we got some blue flowers across the road there, purple on our tree there. So, starting to look like spring for sure. My apple tree here, which has never done any good really, but getting some leaves on it. But my weeping willow, I planted this, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, this tree here. And it's getting some good leaves on it. Nice, man. I always love to see them bloom. And I always love to plant one and watch it grow. And it takes forever, but, you know, it's nice. I always like the weeping willows. Okay, so bar's in the mill here. Let me show you what we got. I hope that it'll clean up. I don't know that it will. You know, I don't have a lot to remove. So let me bring this out to the front. I'll show you. You know, worst case scenario is I have to bore this bushing out more than what it needs, quite a bit, and then sleeve it, and then rebore it. So, you know, no big deal either way, but I would prefer that it cleans up. Let me show you. Alright, so let's move it in a little bit. So can you see that? You know, it's definitely not perfect. We're touching right in there, and then open at the top some, you know, and then really close. So it's actually closer than I thought it would probably be, but I wish we had more material to remove. So let's just make a pass and you know, see what it does. So this will be 5 thousandths. That's all I'm going to pull off first. I just want to see how the bar and stuff acts. 445 RPM. Awful lot of stick out on that bar, but I'm not cutting that bar. If it chatters and stuff, I'll just make a new bar. Not quite touching all the way around. That was another 5. Finish looks pretty good though. Actually surprised. WD-40 maybe. That'll help, maybe not. Alright, so that's pass number 3. Man, that finish looks really good. Just not touching in about that area there. So, you know, still got about 25 thousandths left to go. So hopefully, you know, it'll clean up all the way around. You know, then I'll chamfer this guy. You know, I'll do that on the lathe. So I'll dial in a little more and take another cut. Alright, so I think I'm pretty much there. You know, if anything, I'll have to make a spring pass. I don't want it too tight. I'd rather it be on the loose side than on the tight side, because the ends of these arbors, when they run in those bushings, will heat up and expand, and you know, you'll get it getting tight and hot on you. So that's not something you really want. It's something I ran into a couple times with the other supports. Different bushings will be slightly different sizes and cause you issue if you're not careful. Now, last week I'd given out Lance's information. You know, he sent me this arbor and these 2 precision ground flat stones, but I gave his information out wrong. It's 26acremaker.com is his website, and then his email is 26acremaker@gmail.com. So if you're interested, I'm going to sell these stones. They're nice, you know, genuine Norton, and you know, you got to have 2 to keep them good and flat and make them last. So I'm going to break them in. Cleaning up this arbor, I have to clean it up a bit before I can test fit it. These things get dinged up on the end, so that's what I'm going to do. Give it a rub them together to keep them clean, and it also helps to keep them flat. Rub them together and then run over the surface. Try to avoid oil and whatnot. You can feel it when you hit a spot that's high. These stones they don't really attack the surface. They just hit the high spots, really. They're a lot better than using just a standard stone. Rub them together and go at it again. That's great. Just a little bit of, it's got running room. That's what I want. So I'll make sure they all fit, but you get the idea. And then I'll deburr that. Awesome. Still got to put oil groove and stuff in it too, but I'll do that later. So that worked out surprisingly well, despite my reserve. I was a bit, I don't know, maybe a little anxious about it, but turned out nice. So I'm gonna strip this thing down. It's like crazy ugly, and I want to replace this yellowed plastic lens, the wick. Got to put some oil grooves in there, get this ugly paint off. So that's next. I'm missing one of these screws. I'll either have to try to find some new ones or something. It's a cast little cover. Plastic. Raised in the center. Probably just a flat piece would be just as nice. So probably make that out of a Coke bottle maybe, or 2 liter. O-ring. There's a wick. That's a good looking wick. Pull that out of there. Somebody's replaced that. What it looks like. Pull our bushing out. Because, so I don't know. Somebody has made this, I believe, shop made. It looks awful new to me. They've ground on it there. So I'm going to have to definitely go in and put some oil passages, otherwise this thing will just heat up and probably lock up on the end of an arbor. So that's pretty much it. Let's put a little paint stripper on this thing and get some of this funk off of it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to use to try to strip this stuff. It is, what is it, Clean Stripe Stripper. I've had this stuff forever. Kind of looks like, just clear gelatin. And, you don't want to get this stuff on you for sure. But I got a story. As a kid in the late, late 80s, early 90s, my dad was restoring two Model A, Fords, one 1929, one 1930. And as kids, me and my brother would go out in the shop and we would play while he was doing this. And it involved a lot of paint stripper and stuff like that. And I don't know how nice this is, but my dad would often, dip his gloved hand in stripper. I don't know how many times it happened. And he would just barely touch us, on the, where we didn't notice. And a few minutes later, our arm's on fire. Now, we had a water hydrant right there. We'd go wash it off. But he did that to us. How nice is that? So many times. We eventually learned. But yeah. That was memories. The stuff that, sticks out in your mind. It's already working, so that's good. So you just brush this stuff on and hose it off. It's pretty basic. So check that out. That's maybe 10 minutes, You get this stuff on, it starts off as a light tingle and quickly progresses into a, man, where's the water fountain at? I need to wash this off. Yeah, you wouldn't want to do this around anything that, anything painted that you like. Well, I think this thing is, it's about cleaned up. Still got a lot of high spots to knock off. Man, this thing had a lot of ugly on it. Mostly, body filler and stuff. I want to use as little as possible. I hate sanding that stuff, and I just think it's a better job when you can use as little as is necessary. So I'm just knocking off all the high spots and stuff. But looks pretty good now, front and back. All cleaned up, so about ready for filler, primer, and paint. I'm still not for sure on which one of the, or what kind of filler and paint I'm going to use, but we'll see. I may just rattle can this thing and see how it looks after I fill it and stuff. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, a lot of rough casting here. They don't spend a lot of time on. But I think that's as far as we're going to get this week, guys. That was a lot of work for sure, but you get the idea. Making progress. So thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you need anything, contact me through my email. Click on my little guy to subscribe to the channel. And as always, thanks to my patrons, subscribers, and viewers. And I'll see you next time.